Hey folks, I'm in the kitchen today and we're going to talk about capsaicin extract. Capsaicin extract's becoming very popular among home sauce makers and commercial sauce makers. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how it's made and how it's used. So stick with me and I'll show you around. Hey folks, this is Phil from Alabama Hot Sauce. That's alabamahotsauce.com on the web. I'm in my commercial kitchen today. I spent the morning blending sauce, and I thought here toward the end of the day, I'd make a little short video that people have been requesting, and that is all you need to know about capsaicin oil extract. Peppers, as we all know, are hot because of the presence of capsaicin. Capsaicin is an oil that uniquely interacts with our taste buds, sends a signal of heat and pain to our brain. Our brain responds by sending back endorphins and all those chemicals that make us feel good. So eating hot stuff not only adds spice to our food, but it makes us feel good. While peppers have plenty of natural heat, once peppers are blended and fermented and done, and all the things are done to them that are necessary to make sauce and to make food, oftentimes they lose some of that heat. So many sauce makers have resorted to the use of pepper extracts. Pepper extracts or capsaicin extracts are made by soaking peppers, very hot peppers, usually scorpion peppers, ghost peppers, reapers, things of that nature, in some sort of solvent. The two common solvents are alcohol and food-grade glycerin. When soaked and extracted in alcohol or food-grade glycerin, capsaicin extract tends to be quite bitter. I think that is in large part due to the extracts themselves. Food-grade glycerin, which is the most commonly used of the two, is really not very tasty. It has sort of a off-putting bitter taste. Of course, capsaicin oil has somewhat of a bitter taste, so those two combined make a product where many people say that they can tell any sauce that's got extract in it. Some months ago, I set out to see if I could make an extract because many customers asked for it, and to be honest, I had a single use I needed it for. I wanted to make one that provided the heat, but without the off-putting bitter taste. Instead of extracting in a solvent, what I did is I cut open super hot peppers. In my case, they were red ghost peppers. I laid those peppers open and I scraped out the pools of capsaicin oil you see laying inside super hots. First, I scraped about 1,000 to 1,200 peppers. I got a considerable amount of capsaicin oil. Capsaicin oil, when harvested that way, is very thick and gooey. You can't work with it like that. So I wanted to not only thin it down so I could work with it, but pure capsaicin oil is exceptionally hot. I wanted to thin it down enough so that the heat level in the oil was low enough that you could actually deal with it and measure an appropriate amount for your application. The way I achieved that is I took the peppers after I scraped them. Now remember, these ghost peppers had some capsaicin in the juices of the skin. Most of it was in that oil. And I put them in an apple press and I squeezed out the juice out of those pepper skins. I then mixed that juice with the capsaicin oil. I stirred it really good, and using a mathematical calculation, because the addition of capsaicin has a very linear effect. If you double the amount of capsaicin you add to an item, you double the amount of added Scoville units you put in the item. So I then reduced it over low heat until I came to a oil or a substance that I estimated to be about 1 million Scoville. I then sent it off to be tested. It actually tested 1.24 million. And so I bottled it in 1 ounce bottles. I marked it 1,000,000 Scoville because I assumed several things. First, in future production batches, I am certain that there'll be enough variation that I won't exactly hit the measured Scoville. And in addition to that, sending out every batch to get tested for Scoville heat units is somewhat expensive, cost about $100 per batch. So I decided to bracket a little bit and say that this bottle is going to be at least 1,000,000 Scoville if you purchase it from Alabama Hot Sauce. People say, what can you use this sauce, this fluid for? This extract, or this reduction, as I call it. Commercial and home sauce makers use it directly added to their brewed batch of sauce to beef up the heat. So you can experiment and determine whether it takes 10 drops or 20 drops or 30 drops for your recipe, your container size. And by doing that, you can arrive at a heat level that suits you perfectly. Now at home, it also has some uses. Let's say a friend of yours called you up and said, hey, I made a beautiful hot sauce out of chocolate Reaper peppers or chocolate ghost peppers, let's say, since this is chocolate ghost peppers. And he sends the sauce over. You're expecting a beautiful sauce with a wonderful ghost pepper type heat, but due to the amount of blending he did, the amount of additives he added, and the fermentation he did, the sauce had two characteristics you didn't like. Number one, because it was made out of chocolate ghost peppers, it's pretty ugly. Brown sauce is difficult to sell, but you could tolerate that, except that it has no heat. Now, if you had a bottle of Alabama hot sauce capsaicin oil concentrate, what you could do is you could take this bottle and add, let's say, 1, 2, 3 drops of this 1,000,000 Scoville capsaicin oil and shake it up. And you now have a sauce that's going to be considerably hotter than it was. You have to taste it, find out if it was hot enough. If it wasn't, you add a couple more drops. But you eventually get to the point where you get this hot sauce exactly the heat you want it. I have one customer who has purchased this stuff from me multiple times. He's now bought about 18 bottles of it. He's making sauces at home that he's giving away and he's using it. But he told me last week on the telephone that his wife made a pot of chili, and to jazz it up, they put 10 drops of this in a pot of chili. He said it made it just the right heat for all of them. They didn't have to worry about chopping peppers and gassing up their house with the fumes that come from chopping and grinding peppers, and he loved it for that purpose. He also said that he had a commercial sauce that he really loves putting on his fried chicken. He didn't tell me the name of it, but he said it just wasn't quite hot enough. So he's been adding it to that commercial sauce, just like I did with this chocolate ghost pepper sauce, and he now has a sauce he likes to taste, and it has the heat level that suits him. Let's say you are frying up some chicken at home, and you want a little dressing for it. You got this honey, but you really wish it had a little heat to it. You can come in here and you can open up this bottle, put a couple of drops in it, and for that amount of honey, a couple of drops is all it's going to take. Stir it up and mix it really good, and now you have perfectly good hot honey. Again, you have to experiment with the amount of this you need to add. Everybody's taste is different, but this stuff allows you to adjust your foods fairly precisely to the heat level that you like. People not only love extract, some people love a lot of extract. When I began making this particular product, after bottling the first, I think it was 170 bottles of it, I immediately started working on making one hotter. And here in my pocket, I have a bottle of Alabama hot sauce, capsaicin oil extract, that's rated at 3,000,000 Scoville units. I just got notified yesterday by the testing lab in New Mexico that this tested at 3.062 million Scoville. So I've marked it 3,000,000 Scoville. I'm going to bring this to market sometime in the next 10 or 15 days. I have not determined exactly the process that I'm going to use to pack it, and I haven't determined exactly how I'm going to market this stuff. But in any event, I will now have both 1 million and 3 million Scoville capsaicin oil. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this short introduction. Of course, you can buy the 1 million right now on my website at alabamahotsauce.com. You will be able to buy the 3 million, I think, in less than 2 weeks. And it'll be out there. I don't know how many bottles of the 3 million I'll produce. 3 million is quite difficult to make because you're dealing with a very, very hot and toxic substance. So anyway, I'm going to have it available. Don't know the price yet. Don't know exactly the date it's going to come out. Don't know exactly how it's going to be packaged. But I think it's going to be like I'm showing it to you here. Thank you for joining me on this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed making it. I'd appreciate it if you take a moment to subscribe to my channel. While you're there, give me a thumbs up if you like this content. This type of engagement tells YouTube that people are not only watching my content, but they're talking back to my content by giving me thumbs up and comments and things of that nature. And also, while you're there, take a moment to ring that bell. When you ring that bell, that tells YouTube that you like the Alabama hot sauce content, you want to see more of it, and they'll notify you every time I release a new video. Once again, folks, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Boy, I'd have been in deep trouble if this had broken open in my pocket. I'd have never washed it out. Oh, well. I think that went pretty good. I think people really like this stuff. All right, let's wrap it up. Hey, folks, thank you for joining me. If you would, push the logo on the screen and subscribe to our channel. In addition, I've made a couple of video suggestions that I think you might enjoy. Press the links and give them a try. Again, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.